Hello guys and gals, and welcome! So I thought that I would do something fun, kind of in the same vein that I do with my Diablo 2 characters. So I've recently started doing a little recap video of my Diablo 2 characters after I finish them, so to speak. And I thought it would be fun if I did some recap videos on my characters that I did this season. So first we're going to start off with my rogue. Yes, she has her thighs out. Yes, look at those knees. Tasty knees. A little dirty, though. She might want to clean them off. The rogue is an interesting character, an interesting class, and is definitely one of those oddities that can be just about anything. I mean, she can be a ranged character, she could be a melee character, she can be a stealth character, she can be a trap character, she can be a subterfuge character, she can be all sorts of various things, and many different combinations in between. But what I chose was a Trapsin. Yes, the joke is does not go over, hopefully, you guys' head, because she is basically a trap assassin. So I built her like a trap assassin, with as many traps as she could possibly have, beefing up those trap damages, and playing on the traps as much as possible. So when I play her, she plays very much like a Trapsin. First, let's go over my skill tree and what I chose, and then we'll go out and we'll have some fun. So first off, I have to do a basic skill. No matter what, I have to choose something. And as I went over all of the various skills, I had decided that Heartseeker was my best bet, and utilizing the primary Heartseeker with the ricochets seemed to work the best, just so that I could hit everything, and also apply the critical strike bonus damage, which helped out a ton. But that's just because I have to spend a certain number of points in this part of the tree to get to the next one, and I bypassed entirely this part of the tree because I didn't want anything in the core skills tree. I used no core skills whatsoever, and not even any of the passives at all. That brings me to the agility part of the tree, and in the agility part of the tree, I really liked dash and I really liked shadow step, but I have no points in them. So I ended up actually beefing up other things, which was pretty cool because I have item contributions for these. And let me take a look at the shadow steps. Damaging an enemy with shadow step increases your critical strike chance against them by 8% for 3 seconds. We'll see what we want to do with that extra point. Probably put it back in trap mastery. So we also have Caltrops. So Caltrops is one of our main abilities. It is exactly as it sounds. If you guys have never actually seen a Caltrop before, it is a really cool little thing that you throw on the ground. I think I actually even have a picture of a Caltrop, because I think I had this discussion before one time, and they're like, "What's a Caltrop?" And I'm like, "You don't know what a Caltrop is?" And they're like, "No, we don't know what a Caltrop is." But it's basically like a hunk of metal that has multiple sides, and you throw it on the ground. And when you throw it on the ground, it's nasty. Like if you stepped on one of these, this is an actual real Caltrop. If you stepped on one of these, it would freaking hurt. It would hurt a lot. It would go straight through your foot, and you'd probably be at a pretty big disadvantage in the coming battle because you'd have a big old hole in your foot. Even if you pulled the Caltrop out, well, yeah, it's not going to feel very good. It's not going to feel very good at all. So the Caltrops go down, and then they have other extra bonus effects, like they slow down the targets. They increase the amount of damage that the monsters take while they're in the effect of the Caltrops, of course, because it's harder for them to maneuver. And then they actually even slow the monsters down by chilling them, which is pretty cool, and eventually freezing them if they stay in the Caltrops for too long. I also grabbed dash, and the reason for this will become apparent later because I'm going to go over my equipment. But dash is necessary for how I've built this character up. And shadow step I actually use specifically for trap positioning, and I'll show you how I do that later. I don't use Dark Shroud, and I don't really use concealment, but I do use the smoke grenade. And the entire purpose of the smoke grenade is basically just to have an extra trap. And you know what, now that I think about it, I would like to beef Smoke Grenade up a little bit, but I really just don't have the skill points. Level 25 has really limited the character, and one of the things that I probably will do in the future is beef up the Smoke Grenade by quite a large amount. But I can't really quite do that just yet. I also use the poison trap, which is the very nice damage over time effect, and I've got it up to rank 7, which is pretty cool through pieces of equipment, and I'll show you that later. But it has some very nice effects of knocking down targets when the trap activates. It also has a pretty cool effect that causes it to increase the poison damage of to enemies standing inside your poison trap. So like, I get more damage if they're standing in the poison trap. I get more damage if they're standing inside the caltrops. I get more damage. So I want them to stand in my traps, and the more they stand in my traps, the more damage they take, and it's absolutely great. Now, I completely bypassed the imbuement tree, except for right here, which is Frigid Finesse, and the reason why I grabbed this is because it enhances the cold damage that, or the damage that monsters take if they are chilled, which is playing, of course, off of the effect methodical caltrops, which allows me to chill them and then also have them take more damage while they're chilled, which makes the caltrops do even more damage, of course, and the poison traps and everything else. It just dishes out even more damage because of Frigid Finesse. Absolutely great little tie-on with the caltrops ability. Which brings me to my ultimate, which is the Death Trap. And the Death Trap is placing a trap that causes basically the massive damage within the circle. And then also I got the first passive, which pulls enemies in when it activates, which is really freaking nice. And so all the monsters get sucked into it, which is great. And as you guys saw with my other traps, if the monsters are standing in the poison trap, they take more damage. If the monsters are standing in the caltrops, they take more damage. And the death trap sucks everything in on top of the traps that I want them to be on, which means I get even more damage as long as the death trap is placed properly and all the traps are in the right area. And then, of course, I also got Trap Mastery, which gives me 4% increased critical strike chance versus the crowd-controlled enemies. And of course, I've got tons of crowd controls going on. I've got the chilled effects from the traps. I've got the knockdown from the poison trap. I've got the dazes and stuff that come from the smoke grenades, which you'll see later, and just very, very fun. Of course, I only have a certain number of points to work with here, and I would make it even stronger if I could, but I can't. Now let's look at my equipment. So I have found a lot of really nice rares, and I've converted them into legendaries, using the aspect system, which is really cool, where you can rip something off and then imbue it. And I've got some pretty neat ones, like, for instance, this one here has an imprint effect, which is chilled enemies hit by your grenade skills have a chance equal to double your critical strike chance to be instantly frozen for 2 seconds. You deal 38% increased critical strike damage against frozen enemies, right? Well, we go back to the tree here, and when we take a look at this, it says I gain a double bonus against frozen enemies. I get 30% instead of 15%. The traps are chilling the enemies. So we got some interesting things going on here where the dash ability, or the grenade skills, are giving me a really nice effect, right? And then I also have the boots, which allow the smoke grenade to be used at the end of the dash. Then I also have this one, which when I evade or shadow step, you leave behind a cluster of stun grenades. So I've got grenades coming out here, I've got grenades coming out here, and I've got special effects for those grenades. So I don't actually have to use the smoke grenade effect. It's actually coming out of the dashes and evades as I do them. I also have a couple defensive ones, like this one that helps defend me against elites. And then this one, your grenade skills count as trap kill skills. Whenever you arm a trap or drop grenades, you gain a 10% increased movement speed bonus. And then I also have the... where is it? Can't even remember. I got so many doojanks on here. Dealing direct damage to enemies affected by your trap skills has up to a 48% chance to make them vulnerable for 3 seconds. And skills deal 20% increased damage based on your available primary resource when cast, receiving, while at the maximum benefit, the maximum amount, right? Well, my traps are all cooldown abilities. Cooldown, 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 and cooldown, and base, right? So base skill, which means that my resource is always full. I never spend my energy resource, so that means I always have the maximum benefit from this particular effect. And it's pretty darn cool. The items, like, as far as I've got, can be upgraded. Like, I could find better rares and whatnot, But some of them are so ridiculously good, I don't know how I could find anything better. This one right here gives me +1 to all agility skills and +1 to all subterfuge. Agility skills are these. So this one, and this one. All agility skills get +1. My Caltrops is at 7 out of 5. My poison trap is part of the subterfuge tree. So this amulet is giving me +1 to my Caltrops and +1 to my poison trap at the same time, and everything else in the same tree, including my smoke grenade and my other skills that I'm using like dash and shadow step, which are absolutely excellent for the way this character plays. So let me take you to like an event or something like that, and let me show you how this character actually fights. So first things first is you throw down your poison trap, and we got a boy right here. Let's go ahead and throw down that trap right on top of him. Throw the Caltrops on top of that. Oh, this event was already over. That was already over. We got any more events nearby? Boobity doobity boobity boobity. We can go to the Forbidden City. Let's do a dungeon, shall we? I feel like at least one dungeon. They're not very long anyway. Alright, into the Forbidden City. This is that gross one with all the little tentacles and everything. Got little innards all over the place. It's grody. Rats the size of chinchillas up in here. Rats the size of chinchillas. What's up, buddies? I need more people. Come on, come on, come on. We need Mo than that. We need Mo. As you can see, she clears pretty effectively, like between the combo of her abilities and how I have it set up. I really do a lot of like quick movements. The hell are you? But one of the cool things about the traps that I noticed is they last for like a really, really long time. So, for instance, I can place one poison trap.
I need more time.
I can place 2 poison traps. I can also place the death trap, by the way, which seems to last for pretty much forever until somebody runs over it. So that is now up, and it's just going to sit there. I can place another. I can literally place up to 4 poison traps within this circle. So literally this is just like the death zone. And if I did have a particular boss or something, or like maybe a really difficult monster that hadn't spawned yet, and I could place these underneath of him before he spawns, he will literally spawn on top of this trap circle, and he will just get annihilated. And we've tested it. We literally set these up and like just put them on top of a boss, and the boss literally spawned into this and just got absolutely annihilated. And of course, right when the boss spawns, I throw down the Caltrops too, because the Caltrops, of course, enhance the damage immensely. And then I start going back and forth like this, firing off the smoke grenades and the stun grenades, and dishing out even more damage that way. I wonder if I can put down a second death trap. I think I haven't even tried this before. Let's give it a try and see what happens. So now I've got 2 death traps down. Can I put down 4? I don't know. I don't know how many death traps I can put down at any given time. I haven't actually tested this yet. We got 32 seconds until we can fix this. So why would you want to do this, though? Like, that's the question. Well, the answer is sometimes there's monsters that are really difficult to fight. Like the Butcher, for instance. Let's say you were in a dungeon and your mate was getting chased by the Butcher. And the Butcher can freaking kick your butt, by the way. You could set this up in advance and he could run the Butcher into the traps. And, oh my god, it does a lot of damage. Let me see if I can find something to run into these traps just for lulz. I also want to see if I can cast a third death trap. Oh my god, there's 3 death traps here. It's insane. And they stay there. They just stay there. Like if I run up here and I grab a bunch of monsters and I drag them back, they can just get annihilated by them. The let me just grab a nice little pack of them. Come here, buddies. Everybody, come on down. Come on, I got some traps for you. Come on, come over here. Yeah. Come this way. Come on, chameleon. Oh, we got one boss in here. Wretched Fangstorm. Or not boss, elite. He literally like died just from the poison. I didn't even have to touch him. The poison just melted him into oblivion. But anyway, this is my character. This is the Trapsin, and I definitely had a lot of fun building her. There's a lot of like tactical like know-how that went into this character, like figuring out exactly the best way to use the traps, where to put them, how to effectively use them. A lot of it involves using Shadow Step to get yourself into the fight, and utilizing that to your advantage. Because, of course, you can't place traps unless you're in there. So you zoom in, place your trap, caltrop out. And it works so freaking well. Like, this guy right here. Like, I don't even have to be in there fighting him. I could just be shooting him. And then as soon as I want to, I can just go in, trap, out, daze, and I'm like not even there like when the trap goes off really and starts damaging him. I just do my job and I get out. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Do keep a lookout because I'm going to do videos on my other 2 characters as well, the Barbarian and the Sorceress. And as always, keep watching.